And I want y'all to walk away from this feeling more confident about content marketing, and especially about the messaging that you're using in your content marketing, and have some kind of actionable things that you can use to potentially get more eyes on your business and hopefully grow your business. So, um, I'm Courtney. Travis, thanks for the introduction, but I'll tell you a little bit more about me. So, that picture on the left is me when I think I'm like 25 in that picture. I pulled it up yesterday, when I was dyeing my hair dark. But I grew up in this family that really valued gathering around the table almost every night. This is actually a Thanksgiving dinner, so it's a little bit more special. It's my mom and my brother and my dad is taking the picture. But what it really taught me is the value and the power in gathering and the value and the power in human connection. And so that has really sparked all of my professional and personal interests throughout my life. I grew up loving to cook and eat, and still do that in my personal time. And I also love stories and language and, connecting over stories. And so naturally, I went into marketing. And that like commitment to human connection is really, I think, the superpower behind marketing that really works. It's really tapping into people's emotions and what makes them feel like part of a community, part of something that matters, part of a group of people that share their values. And so that's the kind of small businesses I like to work with today. I've been doing this for about 20 years, and I was looking at my, as I was prepping for this, I'm thinking about all the different experiences I've had in communications and marketing. And I've split my time about evenly in three different avenues. So I've been work with other small businesses, mostly in the hospitality and wellness space to help them grow their organizations. I also worked for a big multi-billion-dollar global organization running their corporate marketing function for about 7 years. And I've been doing my own stuff, been an entrepreneur for the other third. So I've kind of seen it in lots of different iterations, seeing businesses, seeing how they talk about what they do and what's important to them. And this thread of human connection is what keeps coming up for me as like the number one thing to lean on. And so that's how I build my strategies today. I have another full-time job where I'm responsible for these two beautiful children, or I think they're beautiful. So two boys, they're 4 and 1. And they're like super active, fun, crazy. They, keep us busy. So I spend a lot of time doing that too. Let's see here. I think that is everything here. Yeah. So, if you are a small business owner, maybe you have felt like this. Running a small business is not for the faint of heart. It is very stressful, and a lot of times we're just left kind of trying to figure things out on our own. I always talk about it being like the most challenging personal development work I've ever done. And so hopefully that we can get some of that like overwhelm out of your way today. And to make matters worse, social media is not that easy to navigate. It's confusing, and frankly, social media platforms are not designed to support communities or small businesses. They're designed to make money for the social media companies, right? And so we have to figure out a way to flip the script, put human connection first, over, wasting our attention and resources and time on social media marketing or any marketing, frankly, that's kind of not doing what you need it to do for your business. So, before we get started, maybe we'll just kind of like take a minute to stop and center ourselves a little bit, and we'll get into these questions in just a moment. But I think it's always really beautiful when you can get a group of people together that all have a shared goal in mind, right? So we're all entrepreneurs here on this call. We're all here local in Asheville. We all believe in the importance in investing in wellness for yourself, for the people you love, for your community. And we're all here to figure out how to make marketing suck less, frankly, for our businesses so that we can, focus more of our attention on the offer that you have, the services that you provide, the products that you make for your community. So, this is an invitation to kind of be present today. And hopefully you can get the most out of this conversation. And it's also an invitation, again, like I said, for this to be a two-way conversation. Um, I'm an interrupter, which is terrible for my husband, but good for you because I don't mind being interrupted. So feel free to unmute yourself. Just speak up. I've got your video over here on this side of my camera, so it might not see you if you wave, but yeah, feel free to interrupt me, ask questions. This is for you. I'm here to serve you and help you with your business today. So take a minute and maybe on a little piece of paper if you have it, or just think about it, these two questions. What's the hardest thing about social media marketing for you? And what do you want to get out of today? And I'd love, after we have a minute or two for y'all to think about those questions, if maybe a couple of folks would share their answers. What's the hardest thing about social media marketing for you? And what do you want to get out of today? I'd rather not be on social media at all. Yeah. Yeah, Rachel says she'd rather not be on social media at all. And at least for me, I can relate to that because, like I said, social media platforms are designed to capture and steal really our attention and our time and sometimes our money. And so sometimes being on a platform that, especially for folks in the wellness space who are like all about mindfulness, can be a little bit of a conflict, right? Let's see here. Get concerned about saturation of content. Make the chat bigger for me. Yeah. Spending time creating content and knowing where, yep, how much money to spend on it. Yep. Rachel says, I get concerned about oversaturation of content, so messaging getting lost in the mix of the platforms. Cindy, video is hardest to me. I feel self-conscious. This comes up so much for my clients, and for me too. Like, hello, introvert here. Fear of visibility and fear of like embarrassing yourself on the internet is a very real thing. And it's something that is not a natural part of the human experience until we like designed all these tech platforms to keep connected. Um, and you might not like my advice because it's that the only way out is through. And so the best way to get over that is just to know that it feels cringy for all of us. And just like anything that you want to get good at, the more reps you get in, the more practice, the better it will feel. The other thing I try and think about when I think about like fear of visibility for me is like, think about for you as a consumer of social media, how much content you might see in one like scroll session. And so like if some post like isn't perfect or maybe is a little off or weird, like how much attention are you going to give that? Probably not very much. And so I kind of lean back on that to be like, okay, well, if it's not that great, no one will notice. And then just try and get it out there. Video is hard. Yeah. Knowing how to grab attention. It feels inauthentic. Yep. Time. Overall understanding and structuring. Okay. We're going to work on structure today. We're going to work on messaging. And we're going to work on getting clear about what you want to say so that you don't have to second guess yourself when you're creating content. That's right. Anything that we didn't cover yet before I move on? No? Okay, great. Let's see here. Okay. So if your social media isn't working, it's not the algorithm. The algorithm is an easy enemy to point a finger at if like you feel like you're spinning your wheels on social media. But the number one reason marketing doesn't work on any platform at any time is messaging. And so that's why for all of my clients and all of the strategies that I work on, I focus on messaging first strategies. So a great strategy is going to have super sharp messaging, visual guidelines, and a plan. And the plan just says when you're going to do it, how often, and it kind of outlines it so it's easier to execute. Visual guidelines, I think people can get a little bit stuck on this because there are so many super talented visual creative creators out there that are making like crazy videos and like beautiful graphics. But I'm here to tell you that that doesn't really matter as much as long as the way you're presenting yourself visually is consistent. And it's not like in contrast with what you're selling. So I had a client I was talking to, she was actually in a like a mastermind group that I'm in. And she was saying, I've been making content out of my home, but my audience and my home is like very like chill vibes and like kind of like neutral, kind of feminine space. She's like, but my target audience is like more masculine, like athletic, athletes. And she's like, I think there's a mismatch here. So you want to think about stuff like that, but you do not need a super designed anything or like crazy video editors to have good visual presence on social media. You absolutely have to have sharp messaging. And so we're going to talk about that today. Sharp messaging, in my opinion, has three kind of main components. One, it's human. It's real, it's messy, it can be controversial. Um, the bad news for the people who are trying to sell us AI as like the, silver bullet to all of our problems is that AI doesn't create great content. It can help us streamline, it can help us organize, and sometimes it can help us give us like a working draft. But this is my plea for you to not completely lean on AI for your content. And I think folks are starting to see that, like people joke about like, oh, this is, you can tell by the way that it's written, that it's, written by ChatGPT. And we're starting to know because we're humans, we can notice patterns. We're starting to see that now. So definitely think about writing to humans and for humans. Um, Two, sharp messaging is super duper duper clear about who you serve. So whenever you're writing content or writing marketing, you always want to think about how it is going to be, how what you're saying is important to your target audience, even when it's about you. And lots of small businesses, especially in the wellness space, you're providing a service or a level of expertise that's creating a product, or there's something special about you as an entrepreneur and as a human that's like making your brand special. And you definitely want to like have those things shine and talk about them, but you always want to think about it as it relates to your target audience and what's important to them. And then three, sharp messaging and great content is always designed with a specific business outcome in mind. So you always want to think about each specific piece of content, and I'm going to tell you, we're going to get to how to do this, um, how to craft it. So you're trying to achieve something specific with each piece of content. So let me, while I'm thinking about it, I have a work